is Moving Target Podcast Radio. I am Jay Kemp. And with me, well, shout out to Brother Rem, who's usually with me. He's not with me today. So I know he's not, he's not feeling too well. So prayers up for him, sending love and light. And with me today is Sister Kwani. What's going on?
Good morning.
And Zulima.
Good
How
morning.
you doing? And pretty much, Zulima, you here because I told you about this topic and you were like, yo, I looked her up. I know who it is. I got questions, right? So this is a really great show, and I want it to be fun, definitely, but there are some core issues that I did, I do want to address. But even though I talk about how serious the epidemic is when it comes to the family unit and the black marriage and what we're doing, people say, yeah, that's terrible, but what's up with this polygamy thing? Everybody wants to know more from Kenya in regards to her practice and everything she does, because our special guest today is love coach, relationship expert, therapist, a mother of 3, a wife of a successful marriage, best-selling author of the book Change Your Man, Kenya Stevens. Kenya, you on the line?
I am here. I am so excited. I'm so happy to hear the ladies are interested in this.
Oh, man, they are. I think
How are you all? Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. We were definitely hoping to see you, but I was like, you know what? On the line is just as good, so let's rock out.
Yes, I was there. I'm in New York. I couldn't get a train up to New Haven. I wanted to be there, but I'm enjoying just being on the phone with you all today.
Yeah, so are we. And I mean, man, I have so many questions, and we have people that are on the live feed that will be, putting questions out there. So anybody who is interested in posting more questions, please, we're looking at your questions, and we're going to put them out there because we only got a little bit of time to get so much in. So Kenya, thank you for joining us. It's just a pleasure having you. I wanted to, first kind of address some of the serious issues, and the reason why we wanted to reach out to you and have you on the show, because, there is a conflict, a really serious conflict when it comes to the unit in the black community when it comes to black love and marriage. And a lot of times that's the core of some of the systematic issues that we see. So in your experience, I mean, you being a psychologist, a therapist, and working with so many couples, in your experience, where have you seen the systematic oppression affect the black home? And what is your practice doing? What do you do to actually repair that?
Yeah, absolutely. What we've seen since slavery ended, let's say, I don't believe slavery ended until 1942. Okay?
Yeah, some would say if it even did.
And then continued from there, really. But our grandparents and great-grandparents, they started to get that role reversal. The women became very masculine to take care of what the men were not psychologically able to handle after slavery. You understand?
Right.
So we became masculine, you understand? And the men became somewhat docile. Now, when I say that, black men want to say, oh, no, that couldn't have been. We've all been so strong, and I'm not trying to talk down about anyone. We have to deal with the reality. So most of your fathers sat more passively, or either they were extremely aggressive. And then the women were extremely aggressive in general. And so coming out of that to switch back where a female can be a female in her body, that's what African-American women are at today. That's what we're trying to do. Okay, not there yet, because we have forgotten what it feels like to be female in a female body. And so that's what we work at my academy, to support men in understanding the 4 masculine archetypes or energies, and women to understand the 4 feminine energies, so that we can start to practice those again in our relationships.
So can we talk about those 4 energies?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, my husband and I both have books about this. These were our first books written 10 years ago because we had to do it in our marriage. I didn't know how to be a wife or a woman when I got married. I didn't understand what it meant to be surrendered, submissive, relaxed, supportive of a man. I didn't know. I never seen it. My grandmothers weren't that way. My mother wasn't that way. I did not know what to do. So as I started to learn, I studied the African goddesses. So 4 basic feminine archetypes are, number 1, the devotee, this mother energy. It's very nurturing. Many women think this is weak, so they don't want to be in that one. But I've learned that it's the most powerful one. To believe in somebody is to make them more alive. And you understand?
Yes.
To believe in a man's dreams, to believe in your children's dreams. So devotee is the feminine.
You better. I'm shouting right now, just so you know. I'm dropping dollars at the pulpit because you speaking.
Absolutely.
So the second one is the lover. You know, the sensual Oshun energy, where you are sex. You know, sex is going to bring manifestations into your life. Chi, power. It's a real feminine power, your sexuality. So that's the second one. The third one is conservationist, which is like a dark Oya, Kali. You know, she's a magician. She's a witch. She's powerful. She can sit down and meditate. Her house is orderly. You know, everything is running on time. She can heal you. That's like a grandmama energy. and then the fourth one is the visionary, or ma'at. This is an abundant woman. She's a strategist. She can tell you how to make money, how to get it, where to go, who to talk to, who's going to get you the job, and, you know, that type of woman who knows how to do everything. So those are the 4 feminine archetypes that I had to add to my repertoire to consider myself a female.
So I think, Kwani, you had a follow-up question to that?
Not
Azulima?
The feminine archetype, that's the, that goes for male and female. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Now, the masculine archetypes are different. There are 4 masculine archetypes as well. My husband's book is about those. And here's the funniest part. You asked that. The masculine archetypes are first leader, which is like father. But they go along with, you know, they each couple with one of the feminine archetypes. So the leader is, you understand, he's a manager.
Right.
He's a CEO. He's accountable. He's responsible. He's present. You understand? And women like that energy, but in order to get a man into that energy, you have to be its equal and opposite, which is the devotee nurturing mother. So a lot of women complain that the man not the leader, he's not present. But wait a minute, are you a follower? Are you the mother energy?
Do you connect well? Do you mesh well with that leader?
Yeah, but the man too. The man will say, "Well, the women aren't following me." Well, wait a minute. Are you in leader?
Yes.
Are you in leader? If you want somebody following you, you have to stay in leader.
Yes.
And then there's the warrior is the next male archetype, which is the producer. You know, he'll throw his body on the fire. You know, he's physical. He will protect. Then there is the negotiator who understands money, finance, commerce. You understand? He knows how to talk. He knows how to market himself, okay, and his community. And then the fourth one is monk, where you have objectives. You know how to set goals. You sit and meditate. So those are the 4 masculine archetypes.
I do have a question for you, Kenya. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
I know that you mentioned in your book and some of the videos I've seen about how your mate must make you comfortable, or you must not feel uncomfortable with your mate to kind of mold or mesh to both play those roles. You want to elaborate on that a bit?
Sure. Now, I don't know that I've ever said somebody can actually make another person feel comfortable. Now, that is impossible. However, partners, I mean, I've been married for 22 years. I care about the comfort of my partner, but it's not my job to make him comfortable. Would you care to expound on your question?
Sure. A lot of times when you're with a partner, you try to change that partner to what you hope them to be, not realizing that this partner, if you're completely or fully in love with that person, you're invested, and with that investment might come those archetypes that you speak of naturally, a natural flow or a natural essence that you give off, versus when you're trying to force something that may not be for you.
Oh, okay. So I believe that any relationship that you get into can work and was meant to be. I don't believe in mistakes. Oh, you hear people say, "Oh, I just chose a bad one. I made a mistake. I chose the wrong." No, you didn't. That's the perfect person for you because they're going to mirror the areas where you need work. So I guess that what you're asking is, how do you resolve it if the person won't do what you want them to do? Is that sort of your question?
Well, I could say, I mean, if I can just veggie back off of this question right here. I can say, from my perspective, and I guess the question comes from what you're asking, Kwani, I think. But from my perspective, and, people who here know that I'm a result of two, some would say failed marriages, but I'm going to say productively marital closings. That's what I'm going to call them. I'm not even going to call them failed, because productive marital closings, it works. I say that just because I learned a lot from them, and I think both myself and the people I was with did. But I guess my question is, you said there's no mistakes. So in a marriage, when we talk about the people from the old school that stuck it out, right, and it was terrible, and there was, a lot of things might have happened, but they stuck it out. Is there ever a time in your experience that you've seen a marriage say, look, you might not have made a mistake, but this isn't going anywhere? Or do you always see the possibility?
The real issue here is that we don't have the tools to be in relationship. We don't even understand the purpose of relationship. So for us here at Juju Mama, the purpose of relationship is growth, GROWTH. So if you're utilizing all of your experiences and challenges in a relationship to assess your personal development and see, where am I at? Wow, am I lacking patience? Am I lacking compassion? Am I lacking one of the deities, one of those archetypes? Do I need to, whatever I need to do, I'm going to be challenged to do that in a relationship. So, yeah, if we understood the purpose, then you keep moving through challenges. You're going to have challenges. There's no way to get out of challenges in a relationship. Does that answer your question, sweetie?
I wanted to ask a question. I was watching a few of your videos, and you touched on your partner being your mirror, even the relationships that failed. You mentioned something about them being a mirror of yourself, and I sort of understood what you were saying, but just for the women out there that I work with from time to time, how do you explain to someone that their failed relationships were in fact a mirror of themselves? How do they find themselves in that failed relationship?
Okay, good. I explain that to all of my clients, because without understanding the three-way mirror, I created a system where you can plug in the attributes of your partner, the ones you like, the ones you don't like, blah, 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 into a diagram that I created called the three-way mirror to understand exactly how they are reflecting you. So let's say your partner cheated, and you say, well, I don't cheat. They're not reflecting me. That's not like me. I tell the truth. They tell a lie,
Was somebody talking to you about me?
And so I could plug that into the three-way mirror and say, wait a minute, that's a reflection of you, because that is a reflection of what you believe a man is. Your daddy cheated. And so you believe that all men cheat. That's your belief reflected in him. You don't trust men. You never have.
You better go.
How will you attract a man who is trustworthy if you believe men are essentially untrustworthy? So it's a reflection of you.
So you're manifesting those thoughts.
You're manifesting what you believe to be true.
I told Jay this was going to be an interesting interview. He didn't believe me.
But see, the thing I love about this is these are things from a man's perspective. I've been saying these things. She says them better, obviously.
Right.
But do you know the pushback I get from women?
But it's better for a woman to hear from a woman. Right. Understandable.
When you hear from her, it's like, yes, thank you.
But
well, that's because I'm a woman. That's because I'm a woman. But if a man says that, you're right. A woman's going to. And see, we like to stay in victims. The first thing about our company is there's no victims and no villains.
Right.
There's no bad guys and no good guys. That's what I tell every couple when they come in. I'm not going to get on nobody's side. Nobody is wrong. Nobody is wrong. We're all doing the very best we can, and all we're attracting is ourselves every time. So I like to listen to a woman tell me everything wrong with her husband, because she has just listed everything that she believes a man is and everything that she is. So, I just listen all day. I say, okay, are you ready to work on yourself?
That's funny.
So that you can attract what you want.
If I can add to that, hearing you say that, I always say I attract a man that reminds me of my father. So, and I always meant that in his strengths. My father was a strong person. He never cried. He he was straightforward. It is what it is. It's black and white, and it's either right or wrong. It's either yes or no. There's no gray area for him. And I do attract the men that are the same way, but oftentimes I find that I don't like that about them. What I love about you is what I end up not liking about you, because you don't have that gray area. You don't have that, you don't sit and speak with me about things that we can fix in the middle. So I can relate to what you're saying, and it actually opened my eyes to, should I find somebody that's not so much like my daddy? I don't know.
No, you're not going to be able to do that, mother. That's the point. See, now look, we think that we are attracting. Like, consciously, I want this, I made my checklist, this is what I want. You are attracting based on what you learn from age 0 to 7, what you learn from age 7 to 14, and 14 to 21, and you want to resolve your relationship with your dad, so you're going to attract men to mimic that so that you can learn new responses to your daddy, learn how to communicate with your daddy, essentially. You see, you're going to want that your whole life, and it feels good when you get your daddy again. That's the best relationship. That's the one that you go crazy, you know?
Right.
And, you know, can I add, as a man, you know, one of the things that I've always said, you know, when I spoke with women is the fact that we, as men, after we leave our mother, you know, we get that nurturing from our mother. The moment we fall in love with a woman, you know, we're automatically like a kid again, almost looking for that same nurturing that the mother gave. You know, and sometimes it becomes.
But men have men have mommy
issues.
Now,
facts.
There's no man raised in the 80s and 90s that don't have mommy issues, because the mothers in the 80s and 90s were slapping the boys and telling the boys that they're nothing, and or not even to that extent, but they were not pleasable mothers.
Yeah.
Your mothers were not pleasable, so your women aren't pleasable.
So does it?
And so.
Yep. No, go ahead.
And so, yes, it means that you are going to attract that same thing so that you can reconcile with that and change that and finally please her, or finally get her to be quiet about you, or you're going to continue the relationship with your mom and your relationships. Yes.
And so is that the reason why, because we have the mommy issues and because, you know, what has happened amongst, you know, the 80s and the 90s, is that the reason why there's a pushback to the idea of, well, I'm not your mother and I'm not going to take that position to make you feel good? And is that why that conflict is there?
No. That is there, yes, because the men are attracting that because that's what their mothers did. But the women of today are meeting that because we really don't want to be just a mother anymore. We want to be doing, you know, we don't know that feminine beauty of being a man's mama. You know?
Right.
I'm all my man's mama.
Hey.
Man, I'm his mama, I'm his sister, I'm his grandma. What you want?
Yeah, let's dive into that. Let's just talk about the elephant in the room, because everybody's like, look, y'all not talking about this polygamy and all this other stuff. I think is there a misconception when people, you know, see you and Carl and watch the videos, watch the interviews? Is from the outside looking in, do you normally see a misconception about what an open marriage is?
Oh yeah, because there's misconceptions about what marriage is. You know, very few know what that is. But an open marriage, you know, my husband and I don't believe in divorce.
Okay.
We've been married 22 years. We have our 3 children. We don't want more children, and so we don't believe in divorce. And so what we're doing is expanding our relationship. I don't want to have sex with one person for my whole life. I don't want to have sex with just one person this year. I mean, it's not.
How's your week looking?
It's not natural for me. It's not normal for humans. Humans are not a monogamous species.
Oh, man.
You know, we were very. Pardon? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, you go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just.
Jay's fanning himself.
Yeah, I'm trying to calm down right now.
Yeah, humans, and especially human females, are not monogamous. We have been trained to be demisexual in this country, meaning females think, I need a connection to have sex. That they don't understand that that's not a natural human trait. That's how we've been trained. Keep your legs closed. Sit your ass down. Don't curse. Sit down. Don't do anything. Do not be sexual. Do not show that you're a sexual being because you want to be purchased by the highest bidder, your husband, the man who's going to put you on a pedestal and be everything to you and save you and give you every orgasm. But it's all a crock. It is not true. And we have set the girls up to go jump off this cliff called marriage.
Okay.
And it's not what we think it is. So my husband and I just decoded that. And we realized that it's a myth. It's somebody else's reality. It's somebody else's culture. We didn't even create the culture. Why would I follow something I did not create? Nobody I like created it. Nobody I know created it.
So I
create my own concept of marriage. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, sweetie. My question for you, because I'd listened, as I stated before, to a lot of you and your husband's videos. And my question is, what you're touching on with the poly is that we're basically, as humans, in a struggle of nature versus nurture, where your nature is to be poly, but you're raised and taught to be monogamous. Is that what you see humans struggling with regard to relationship?
I absolutely do. And humans are struggling hard because we actually judge a man's or a woman's character on what they do with their genitals. Well, he's a bad guy. He had sex with somebody else. Really? I watched, for instance, our parents and our uncles tell a man who's been taking care of the family 15, 20 years, 25 years. Now, he went and put his penis somewhere for 5 minutes. And he's a bad guy. He's ruined the family. He's ruined our neighborhood. He's a no good. Like, this man has put his paycheck right here for 20 years and been here with these children. And all of a sudden, the children are ostracized from him or her.
I feel like my ex is about to give you a call. He's going to be looking to back him up.
Who is that?
Yeah. Kenya, now,
Okay, go ahead.
For someone like me who's really opposed to a lot of the things that you speak on, especially when it comes to monogamy within a relationship, I do understand that it may have been a nurturing thing, considering my parents were married for, about 12 years or so. And after, failed marriage, my dad never really got divorced, but really believed in the traditional marriage concept to a T. So when I think of, like you mentioned, relationships, I automatically think of connections. So I can't separate that. What would you tell someone like me?
Now, I'm not saying that, to me, sex is connection. The definition of sex is connection. I'm not saying that there should be no connection. I'm saying that if we're saying we need to be in a marriage, we need to be in a relationship to feel a sexual feeling for a person, that is not true. You walk down the street today, you may see a man that turns you on. Y'all are not in a relationship, are you?
No, not at all.
He turns something in your body on sexually, right?
Correct.
So that is what I'm saying is it is essentially not true that to have a sexual feeling about somebody, you have to be deeply connected to them. That's all I'm saying.
So I want to eventually go into a lot of questions that people have in regards to what we're talking about. But just a question for you and your experience. How long did it take for you and Carl to finally say, Carl, your husband, to finally say, you know what, I think after we decode this, this is where we're going to go with it with our marriage. How long after you got married did you do that?
Well, at year 4 of our marriage, I found myself giving a man I was working on a project with a hug. And with that hug came a full-body orgasm.
Wow. So is this the 30-minute orgasm that you also created?
This is not with sex in the
okay.
This was a hug. And so I was like, oh, my God, what is going on? So I went home. I told my marriage counselors. I told my husband. Then I started having dreams about this man where I would have orgasms in the dream.
Wow.
And I couldn't do anything about it. It was involuntary. It was like past life or something. It was just a feeling, a connection that was automatic. And so I told my husband openly, and then my marriage counselor said, forget about it, let it go. And I tried. Now, at year 10, my husband came home from work and said, oh, my God, you remember that thing? You hugged somebody and my husband had that sensation with a woman at work. And he said, I want to explore it. I said, oh, really, you do? I said, okay, well, let's meet her. I would like to meet her. So we met her. She was nice. We started talking about it. It just opened up a 2-year conversation on what should we do. And in the end, it came out, we should both be open. Let's try it. You have other connections. I have other connections, and we stay together. We didn't know the word polyamory. We didn't know any other African Americans doing this. But we just tried it.
Can you explain the difference between the polyamory and the polygamy, just so people are clear?
Polyamory means both the male and the female are considered human with needs, and they both can have other partners. Polygamy or polygyny is the male can have many other partners, but not the female, because she's not considered human in those relationships.
So most dudes want polygamy.
Most dudes do. They want to continue the patriarchal style of thinking that females are not human beings. Yes.
I found it funny how you your initial response to your husband wanting polygamy. Can you share that story with the audience, please? It was hilarious.
Sure. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I just say. I just didn't understand it. I don't remember my initial response. I just said, "That's ridiculous. I can't. Why would you have more sex partners? I'm not getting enough sex from just you." Now, what are we talking about here? I want to have other men, have other women. I'm gonna have other men. Period. It never sat with me well.
So is there a difference? This is actually coming from the fans, people who really were interested in asking you some questions. Is there a difference between monogamy? Is monogamy mental or physical?
Monogamy, is it mental? Monogamy means I mate with one partner for life. That is what the scientific definition of monogamy. Geese are monogamous. 4% of mammals are monogamous. Monogamy is rare. So, yes, it means I mate with one for life, and then I don't love or mate again if that mate dies.
So monogamy is specifically, it's exclusively physical when you think about monogamy.
Thank you for the
physical, yes. It's mental. It's emotional. It's about I'm going to have one partner for life. It's hard for me to answer questions about monogamy because it's so misperceived. There's nobody in this country who's monogamous. They are serially monogamous. I'll be with you, dump you. You with the next one, dump you.
Oh,
you
that's
the next
great.
one, dump you.
Yeah, that is good. Serial monogamy. So I'm going to read off some of the comments and statements that were made, and I would love for you to just respond, how you see fit. There was a young man that said, he said that he wanted to know, what is the point of having an open relationship? I mean, why even be in a marriage if you're going to have multiple people? Why don't you just be with multiple people instead of having a marriage?
That's a great question, and everybody asks that. I believe there's 4 kinds of general kinds of relationships. So there's the first one, which we call the womb choice. And remember, the woman is the chooser. So in relationships, you're coming into my body, so I choose who comes into my body. Women are the choosers. So when I'm choosing men walking down the street, they can fall into one of these 4 categories. The first one is the womb choice. That means I see you, and within 5 minutes, I want to have sex with you. I'm very primally sexually attracted to you. That's not a man you marry. That's a man that you leave over there, you go have sex with him,
Indeed.
and then you come home to a man who's a support choice. Support choice means we're domestic partners, we're friends. The relationship is not highly sexual. The relationship is about, I want to help you out. I want to take out the trash. Oh, I want to iron your shirt. I want to do the cooking. Oh, I want to, combine our money. That's a domestic partnership. It's called a support choice. Okay? So that's who you marry. Then there is the crown choice. A man who you really can get guidance from, and he gets guidance from you, and you guys have like a healing sexual connection, and it's spiritual, okay? Then there is the money or manifestation choice, where this man is going to help you materially, like a sugar daddy.
I was just about to say sugar daddy. All right.
Yeah, he wants to pamper you. He wants to make sure that you know how to make money, and, he's good with making money. So those are the 4 basic categories.
Is there? Go ahead.
One person cannot serve all those things.
Really? That's what was my follow-up
Absolutely
question.
That was your follow-up question?
Absolutely.
Can one person serve all those things?
I have coached thousands and thousands of couples in 13 years of running Juju Mama. I have never seen one person cover all those areas. And the reason why is scientific. Is because humans create community in order to survive. So if one person could be everything, we would never have created community. Community means we have different needs, and there are different people to fulfill different needs.
Now, do you ever feel that energy, you know, with every connection that you have, sexual connection I'm speaking of, do you ever feel that with too much sexual energy being changed over from man to man or woman to woman, that it may kind of cause some toxicity there?
Well, I believe that sexual energy is God force. It is light. It is healing my body. It is opening me to further creativity. It's making me a better mother. It makes me a better moneymaker. It makes me a better CEO. It brightens my skin. It makes me younger. It is God force. So I don't have a toxicity idea around sex. That's Western. That's European. They thought that was bad, puritanical, that the devil is sex. I don't have that belief.
Can someone get Jay a fan, please?
Yeah, somebody get me right, because she is just blowing my mind right
He's
now.
all for this, all for it.
That's just, African people did not think of sex as dirty, bad, or nasty. So it was beautiful, good, connecting, making love, community, making life. They make the crops grow with sex. Okay.
Let's go. We made the grass grow. That's great.
So I don't associate toxicity with sex. I don't associate illness with sex. That's a Western thing.
And that's something that a lot of people were talking about too. I want to actually also touch on. There was somebody, shout out to I believe it was Douglas McCarran, who spoke about being married for so many years. It was the best choice, and trying to be open would be considered selfish.
Trying to be open would be considered selfish.
In a marriage,
If I can pause your question quickly, I think that she hasn't elaborated on the differences, because you're currently open, right? There's a difference
We are
between
in
the
open
polyamory
marriage,
and open, and I don't think people understand the differences
Well, yeah, she said the polygamy is when the man.
between polyamory and open.
Yeah.
There's actually more.
There's
to
no
it.
real big difference between polyamory and open.
Okay.
Open relating just means we have a little bit less structure. Anybody single is open. They can date whoever they want.
Right. Okay.
Polyamory is more like marriage. Like, these are the rules and the protocols of how we can date whoever we want. You can do that, but you can't do this. I have to watch you, or you have to be, there's always a lot of protocols with polyamory, where open relating is more free-flowing.
So I have to ask, from an ego perspective, like, how does your husband, or even you, deal with if your husband meets someone who, well, actually, maybe I should clarify, the same 4 choices you said that a woman has, right? Is that the same for a man?
Yes, the men need all those areas covered as well. A man loves a womb choice, because that's going to give him power, raise his testosterone for a woman who always wants you sexually. And it's very primal, and you get to exercise through that. A man grows by sharing money with a woman. A man grows because his testosterone is boosted, walking around with a younger, beautiful woman that he has the honor of taking care of financially. Then a man's testosterone grows if he has a support choice. A woman who's always going to cook and clean and be in your house and raise your kids. That's a big emotional support for a man. And then the crown choice, the man grows because men are wise, and they get to exercise their power of sharing wisdom with a woman and growing a woman. So those all support men as well. So
then, have you ever experienced with your husband times where you felt your husband's the support choice, right?
Yes, my husband is a support and crown choice.
Have you ever met somebody else who's also a support choice?
Yes, I have 2 support choices, and I have 2 crown choices.
Okay. And this, your husband knows them, all of you hang out, y'all talk?
Oh, absolutely. My husband is we're all in group together, so we have a community on Facebook, and we get together each September and rent a huge house. All the people come out. I mean, we have been together for years. I've been with most of my partners for 5 years. So I have a womb choice. I've been with him 5 years. I have my husband for 22 years. I have another crown choice for 5 years. And then another support choice for 5 years. I've been with most of my partners for a long term. I don't do short-term relationships or one-night stands usually. I create real relationships, marriages with my other partners.
Wow. Kenyon, can you elaborate on some of the rules that you and your husband have came to when first opening this marriage?
Oh, when you first open, you find that you want a lot of rules, a lot of control, because you're very afraid. I was very afraid that my husband would leave me. He was probably afraid that I would leave him. So we would always create these crazy rules. Like one of them was, nobody can have sex with you in our marital bed, right? And then we thought that was such a stupid rule. Like a year later, we were like, they can't have sex in a bed, but they're having sex with your marital body. Yeah, I mean, we came up with crazy rules. You can't sleep out. You can't go on a long vacation. You can't. But we've since dropped all the rules, and now all we have is 4 rules. No shame and no blame. No victims and no villains. No cop-outs and no dropouts. And the purpose is growth. Those are our only 4 rules. Everything else, you can do what you want because I trust you.
No cop-out or no dropout.
Mm-hmm.
You want to elaborate?
No, that means, copping out when you're in a marriage means I'm going to still be here, but I don't really like you, and I'm not going to do no work on myself, and I'm just going to be here, and we're going to raise these kids. That's a cop-out. No, you always have to be trying to work with your partner and grow, okay? A dropout is just, I'm going to leave you. So we don't believe in leaving. I've never left or broke up with anybody. I don't need to do that. Our relationship can transition. It can change. My husband and I, we've gone through times where, okay, we don't have sex. Okay, now we do. Oh, now we don't have to be in the same bedroom. We have separate bedrooms. But our relationship keeps changing, but it's never going to end.
So
drop out.
So, real quick, I wanted to make sure that we touched on, for those that are single, right, and are looking, and some who aren't looking. You know, they feel, a lot of times you could feel judged as if, well, you're such and such years old, you know, why aren't you with somebody? As if there's almost something with them, right? They feel pressure from society and stuff like that. What do you say to them that are looking, that, you know, are trying to figure out how to really enter into this dating world? Where should they be before they even enter a relationship?
Well, before you enter a relationship, you should really have a freedom-based mindset and connect yourself with God, with Source within. Now, we believe that we're each living, walking gods. Literally have the powers within us to manifest the things we want on this planet. So the deal with singles is that they have to tap into that before they can go try to find this in somebody else. We're usually trying to find someone to complete us, but we are born whole and complete.
Yes,
and so that was something very important to discover prior to getting into the relationship.
Right. Zulema, you had a question?
I have a few questions. Which one first? My first question, I guess, is your husband and yourself. Do you find that your relationship is more of a partnership, a business, as opposed to when you first started, when you were young and in love and you wanted to be married and I couldn't get enough of this man? With more people getting into your space, do you find that the initial love faded and now it's more of a, we're going to raise these kids, we're not getting a divorce, we got this business, we're going to make this money type of a situation?
Yeah, well, you know, our parents lied to us because they never told us that year 1 sex is different from year 5 sex, and then at year 10 and 15, you don't even want to have sex, and at year 20, you're just, they didn't tell us. You see, they let Disney teach us about love, and Disney is not real. So, you know, we have these fantasy ideas that we're going to have
Disney.
a romantic relationship with our partner, but it's really a chemical. It's a chemical. And each time you have sex, that chemical high gets less and less. Just like if I took crack today and then tried tomorrow, it's going to be a less of a feeling. So that's the same thing with sex. And, you know, when people have a lot of shame when they don't want to have sexuality with their partner anymore, but we don't have no shame because we know it was just a chemical high. So, no, we don't, my partner and I don't, we're not like, oh, my God, I want to have sex with you. That's not what a relationship is about. That's not what a long-term marriage is about. A long-term marriage is about a support choice partnership. You're in my house. We're domestic partners. We do life together.
So
we witness each other.
When couples come to you and their marriage is in trouble, they want to repair it, they want to make it work, do you suggest, you know, the open marriage, or is it more of, you know, if they choose that, that's cool, we can, you know, that we can work with you on that, but if you don't, we have other ways?
No, we don't suggest open marriage to anyone. Open marriage has to be something that the couples want to do. Couples who come to me who want to just repair their marriage, I'll start with the 3-way mirror. Are you seeing that he is your reflection? Because that adds a level of compassion to your marriage. Everything my husband does that I don't like, I see how I created it. So I can't ever be mad at him. We haven't had an argument in 3-4 years because there's nothing to argue about. He knows that if I'm doing something he doesn't like, he's looking at his mama and what he didn't heal with his mother. He knows that because of our tools. We also have a tool called up-level communication that helps couples communicate. I mean, these are basics that you need. You can't even get in an open relationship unless you have some real serious power tools for relating. You're going to be hurt, okay? So, no, we don't tell anybody to get into an open relationship. We tell them to use and get these tools. Three-way mirror, the gender archetypes, okay? Up-level. Lacing, meditation. Are you connected to your source? Do you know who you are? Are you using sexual power? You know, there's so much to do before you open.
And, right. So you take them through a process before you. That's good. That's really good. So we're going to be wrapping up soon, and I want to make sure everybody knows where to contact you. I know where I'm going to contact you at. So Zulema, Kwani, do you have a couple questions you want to end with?
I just wanted to first say, maybe you should let people know that your website isn't just about the poly, because I think people have a misconception that that's all you're about. And I've been to your website, and there's so much more to offer. I'm going to be paying my $20 a month, by the way. And
oh, you will love it. Yeah,
the
membership on our website is great. That's where you pick up all the tools.
Because there's so much more to offer besides your poly. So I think that people do need to understand that that's just one aspect of everything that you do. Especially
for everybody, who was commenting and only, criticizing having the open marriage. Understand that there is an issue again in the black community when it comes to the family home and marriage. And this is a solution. These are a lot of tools that will actually help nurture and nourish your relationship. Even those that say we've been married 25 years and it's been great, there's got to be a way to make it better.
Right.
You know?
Those are few and far between. And I challenge anybody here to think of 3 couples who have been married 25 years and are happy. And what does happiness mean? But yes, there's much more than poly, but I like to include the poly because I want to keep people sort of don't come to Juju Mama if you're really not ready to grow. You're going to be stretched. With or without poly, our tools will stretch you. When you have to take 100% responsibility for the creation of your life.
So can we get real quick the website before we close out?
Yes, we have 2 websites. If you want to join the academy, it's jla.jujumama.com. We also have jujumamaloveacademy.com. And if you just want to check out the blog, come on over to jujumama.com. But if you Google JUJUMAMA, you will see all of our stuff from Instagram to Twitter to YouTube to all of our websites.
Kenya, thank you so much. And I will be contacting you more in regards to other things and going on to the website. So thank you so much. Yeah, we need to bring you back. Yeah. Can we bring you back?
Absolutely, anytime. I'm always available. Maybe next time I'll make it all the way up to Connecticut.
We'll pick you up.
I keep telling him how awesome you are. You have to.
All right, thank you, Kenya.
Thank you. I love you all. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
94.3 WIBC. Thank you for everybody tuning in. Moving Target Podcast Radio.